Episode 10, Dream On, begins with a cold open where Ai explains that she frequently has dreams where her parents are alive and interacting with her. She also says that Stitch has bad dreams sometimes, though we don't get any details on what they're about. After the title sequence, we finally see the Wollagongs again. We haven't heard from them since episode 7, so we can assume they've been busy coming up with a new strategy to capture Stitch. However, it seems their spying so far has yielded no useful information. This is where a random alien shows up, claiming he has intel. He also claims to be the Wollagong's best spy, which I guess is true if even they have no idea who the hell he is. Anyway, the spy has found out about Stitch's nightmare problems and believes he can use them to the Wollagong's advantage by using a device called a dream beam. Meanwhile, Ai is letting Stitch come to school with her on the condition that he behave himself, but he immediately does the opposite, stealing a kid's skateboard and rolling around campus on it. The spy, Skippity, has his sights on the troublemaker, but Ai gets in the way just as the dream beam fires and causes an explosion. A more appropriate name for that gun would be a dream bazooka, because holy shit. The dust settles and Stitch is in trouble for disobeying Ai. She orders him to go home and soon after meets a stranger.
Are you okay? Huh? I didn't see you come up. People say I'm kinda quiet.
Given what just happened with the dream bazooka, plus we've never seen this girl before, it's extremely obvious that the blast hit Ai, and this girl, who calls herself Jingfei, is a manifestation of something having to do with her dreams. By the way, I don't know if the name Jingfei has any significant meaning in the Chinese language, or if it's just a random name, so if anyone knows, leave a comment about it. Ai is asked why she's sad, and she talks about her dreams where her parents are still around. Jingfei says there's a place in the mountains where, quote, dreams come alive. Odd, considering this dream figment is sitting right here far away from the mountains, but I digress. Ai doesn't want to play hooky to go searching for the place, but at the same time she's curious about what could be there. Meanwhile, Stitch is with Jumba and Pleakley in their ship and sees a scroll depicting a creature that consumes dreams. Since Stitch is suffering from nightmares, he wants Jumba to make this creature to cure what ails him. In the mountains, Jingfei and Ai have reached a peaceful area that Jingfei claims to be the place where dreams become reality. A bunch of wacky shit happens that Ai recognizes from dreams she's had in the past. Back with the aliens. Yeah, this is one of those episodes that goes back and forth a lot. Jumba has successfully created a Mo, the dream-eating creature. And it actually looks like an experiment that Jumba would make. Finally! A creation with a good balance between staying true to its mythological inspiration and having the experiment vibe we all know and love. Just then, Stitch comes in, having caught Skippity the spy, who spills all the details of his mission, because he's not a very good spy after all. He thought that Stitch would be trapped by his own nightmares after being hit with a dream beam, but clearly he missed his mark.
I'm such a failure! There, it's not easy being a sleazy, slimy, despicable, loathsome spy, but I'm sure you'll get the hang of it in time.
Jesus, Pleakley, that's not how you comfort someone having a crisis. Everyone realizes Skippity must have shot Ai by accident and set out to go find her by tracking her via her cell phone. Good thing they're on her way, because she is not having a good time. The dream place is turning into a field of nightmares. Ai and Jingfei hide in a crevice to escape the hostile apparitions chasing them, and once they're out of harm's way, they're delighted to see Stitch. Unfortunately, since Ai's dreams and nightmares are still able to come to life, Stitch begins to turn into a monster and rampage through a town in the mountains. But by telling herself that Stitch would never do such a thing, Ai is able to make the nightmare Stitch and the town around him dissolve. Jingfei shows up again, and Ai realizes that she's the real cause of the dreams manifesting. This realization causes Jingfei to start fading away, and the whole thing reminds me of the experience of lucid dreaming.
Please don't hate me. How can I hate you? You came out of my own mind. You're me, Jingfei. But I'm afraid you'll have to go back inside now. And from now on, you've got to be a good part of me, okay? Okay, I promise.
Finally, Ai's parents appear as ghostly figures, reminding her that her family is always with her, and telling her they love her before fading away. Then the real Stitch shows up, alongside the Mo. Ai says she doesn't need his services, as she's already made peace with her dreams. Stitch hasn't, though, so the Mo cleans him out. Why is the tongue coming out of its snout when its mouth is clearly down there? Never mind, I don't want to know. As for Skippity, he mentioned earlier that his dream was to be a veterinarian, so Jumba allows him to live in the little dimension of monsters. Wait, where did those dragons come from? They're not the ones Jumba made before. And more Mo's? Why did Jumba have the time to make a bunch of extra creatures that weren't seen or even mentioned before this point? Whatever, roll credits. This was another episode that I didn't mind. Not great, not bad. Minimal nitpicks, nice and simple. I liked that the Mo looked and behaved the way we're used to Jumba's experiments looking and behaving. Man, you know the bar is low when I consider the bare minimum to be grounds for a good episode. But hey, everyone's standards are different. Don't harass anyone for liking the show, and as always, take my salt with a grain of salt.